What's up, you guys? Here I go once again, trying to fulfill my obligation. Because I tried more than once, and here I am, where my signature leaves something on the screen. So let me get it off. What's up, everybody? It's Ron Raphael with the Legacy of Learning. And if you're catching this on a second iteration, then it's okay, man. It's okay. Live is for me at this point. What we listen to, what we listening to, what we are listening to. Hold on just a moment. I'll be right back. Uh-oh. Let me turn it down, man, just a little bit. This guy right here. Well, this is an underground rapper. What's up, everybody? I'm listening to an underground rapper known as Rome Streetz. He's a little bit gritty, but I'm a hip-hop aficionado and a lover of all music. But I grew up in the hip-hop era, and I'm doing research for my show called The Underground, which is soon to commence in June, first week of June, Underground. But anyway, that's not why you're here. Welcome, everybody, to the Legacy of Learning. And this is where you increase your GPA by at least 1 point in 2 semesters specifically. But it's not just for that GPA scenario. It's also for anyone that's taking a course, a certification, anything that you need to amass a score and have a quantification at the end, and there's a course to take of a number of classes to lead to an ultimate culmination. It's specifically tailored for students, but it applies to everyone who's going through some type of learning process to either pass a course or just for self-enlightenment. It is definitely the step before you embark on your profession or your calling. So that's what the Legacy of Learning is all about. Just in a nutshell, I thought I'd reiterate. But let's get to why you're here, man. It's day 5 of my challenge week. Well, it's not actually day 5. It is day 5 we're talking about, but it is a week later, and I'm in between 2 challenges. There's one coming up next week. So I thought I'd do for you today what I think is the essence of why you come to the Legacy of Learning. Not to hear about it, not to be told about it, but to be shown and to be explained and to give specific tips on what to do, how to do it, and that's why you're here. So my challenge week was about sales. It's a program I took, a challenge program called Make More Offers, a Make More Offers challenge. It's a sales challenge. Outside of me working along with you, I share with you my pursuits because that's what my book is all about. It's about getting that portion done and then moving on to things that we talk about here. And that's what the channel is about. So I'm in the process of working on my channel, which is the Legacy of Learning channel, and also trying to figure out the best ways, most efficient ways to bring the book to market so that people can use it. You know, that's really what I'm not going to get much gratification from this project from people just purchasing it. My whole game in this process is to have people use it and to get success. So let's talk about the classes in it of itself. A challenge. Yes, take a challenge. We're all faced with challenges every day. And after a while, these challenges become second nature and they become subconscious and they no longer feel like challenges. At that point, you should have a few of those challenges in the queue already, working them up to that level of subconsciousness. Things like driving was crazy in the beginning, but now we do it without thinking. So that's what the human brain is designed for, accepting a challenge, working it out, and then at some point, after repetition, now you have to do some type of, working out with this thing. But after repetition, over time, what seemed difficult in the beginning becomes extremely second nature and becomes easy by definition. So in this class that I took this week, it was about making more offers. The essence of it was simply to create a valuable offer and scale it up. And doesn't matter if you're with a new client, old client, if you're into sales, just if you're not, just it ends up somewhere. If you're with a new client or old client, it doesn't matter. Always have another offer, bigger, better, with more value, obviously. You're not selling garbage or junk, but always have another offer ready all the time and always craft a new idea and a new offer. Never stop making offers. Make more offers. As it applies to you in life, they say that those that speak, the closed mouth does not get fed. In other words, you have to speak up. And the more you speak up and the better you are able to communicate, craft your message, in this case, your offer, the more successful you'll be in life. Let's take that job that you might be looking for. Even though I'm not a job champion, we all need to work at some point in our lives or careers. So we're going to need that. In a job scenario, as we're communicating either with employers, potential employers, the only thing they have to go on is, well, our resume, but by and large, the best or the most effective factor is the communication value that you provide to them in your interview situations. Basically, how well do you communicate? And specifically to getting a job, how many jobs then do you apply for? One, you're communicating better, and secondly, you're making more offers. You're offering yourself. And that can apply, this particular principle can apply to everything in life. Now let's talk about specifics outside of that philosophy, so to speak. Specifically, what I learned is that in making an offer to someone, the psychology is that we normally want to show a shiny object and tell them how good we are at something and then offer our service or product, or we're talking about how great the product itself is and that you should use it. Now, what I learned in this course is that they don't know you yet, so they don't believe you, and even deeper than that, they do not trust you. So, the specific technique to pull people towards your product, your offering, your service, even though you may be in the beginning stage or you still may be in the academic stage of your growth or process, bank this one away. At some point in life, you may have to use this technique. The technique is not to offer you and tell you how good I am at it. It's to basically tell you about some of the mistakes that people make in regards to the specific offer that I'm giving, technique or product, and how this particular thing that they're doing wrong, a number of things, is something you need to know of. The technique is something like this. The top 7 mistakes people make before they X, before they whatever, it doesn't matter. So if you're crafting a message, you could say, hey, these are the top 7 reasons you should use my great product. What I learned specifically, the technique was to phrase it in this manner. Here are the top 7 mistakes that people make when doing whatever. That psychological twist or inflection or slight change poses a question in the person's mind, and then they want to, at least for a moment, click on that particular offering just to see what it is. Why? Because 7 things, how fast can I get through this? Probably pretty fast. How long is it? And if they're asking that question, the ad did its job. They will, at some point, click on this thing and see what are the 7 mistakes that people make before they are divorced, for example. Now, I want to know those 7 mistakes. I'm going to get married, for example, so I'll click on that just to see, as opposed to someone saying, here are the 7 best things you need to do so you won't get divorced. Who are you? Why am I even going to do that? So it's not as compelling as the word. Now, as we talk about the word, on the legacy of learning, we use words as a trigger for conversation and for learning. It's an easy way to learn. Let's add a word a week, a word a day, wherever it may fall for you to your vocabulary. I've used words like candor and words like sagacious, but there's a word that I wanted to use today that came to mind. It is called, the name of the word, or the word is deleterious. So it struck me. I said, do I really know what this word is? I've heard it before. And as it turned out, it is a very simple word, even though it has a very highfalutin pronunciation, deleterious. It simply means to cause harm or damage. Yeah, having a deleterious effect on someone means that you're a bad influence. I'm trying to do the opposite, not have a deleterious effect on you. Now, if I use this in another example, it would be pertaining to me losing my phone today and riding on my motorcycle with my phone in my unzipped pocket may have a deleterious effect on me keeping my phone. And I lost my phone today. It was in his unzipped pocket in my motorcycle jacket, and it is gone. Goodness, right before I came online, I had to file a claim so I can have a new phone. We're tied to our phones. It's almost feeling like a vacation. I'm really telling you, man. I know people are trying to call me, maybe. I'm not the most popular person I know. I think people are trying to call me. One in particular called me earlier, and he said he would call back. And I didn't want to bug him, so I didn't call him or attempt to communicate by another means. So if I don't find my phone, which I don't think I will today, think it's gone for real, I'll communicate with everyone either later on this evening or tomorrow. I digress, right? But yes, deleterious is the word. So yeah, man. So that's one of the things. Other thing I learned is that that working in a challenge along with a group of people is probably one of the best things I got out of it. Now I have a community of people that we're trapped. I'm just kidding. We're in a Facebook space page that we all now, all 500 of us that took this challenge, are able to continuously communicate with each other inside of. So that is one of the greatest benefits of being in a challenge. The new people you meet, life is about people. So that's the other thing I got out of it. The third thing I got out of it, which was extremely important, is I also mentioned it in the Legacy of Learning instructional interactive book that I have for academic pursuits. It is a technique that I call professor psychology. Your job when you enter a course is to get to know your professor. You have to get information by way of his coaching, his teaching, and then at some point you're going to have to display how much you know. You're going to have to regurgitate. Maybe that's the word, actually. No, we all know that word. We're going to have to regurgitate this information in some form or another to prove that his coursework had some effect on you and you learned something. Here we go back to this word, that you learned something. So yes, getting to know this individual, how they think, what their preferences are, where they stand in the class, some of the phrases they use, their thinking process, how they think. You should come away with that. Now, the professor psychology is used to get to know your professor, digest your course information, be able to give it back to this person so that you can communicate with them through your coursework. The better you get to know them about the class, not about their personal information so you can become their friend. No, get to know them, whatever the elements might be. Some might be personal. He may offer something in the class. She may offer something in a lecture personally about them. I like to jet ski, for example. This person may say, and he may use this example in class or may refer to it throughout the semester. Your professor likes skiing. He likes the snow. He takes his family on excursions. It tells you things about this person. Now when you get ready to sit down and write a paper and or communicate with this individual regarding your course, these are elements and things that make the human communication possible, more humane. you communicate better with people once you get to know them and show interest in who they are. I may not agree with you in my paper, but I know what you think about this topic, what your angles are, and I may reflect on that in opposition as I offer my standings and offer my support for why I think that way. So that was a highfalutin example of why you would need to get to know your professor, but it will add an element to your communication throughout life that is more personable. You will become a master communicator the more you are interested in the person or the people that you are communicating with. If I only transferred that alone, I hope that helped today, because that felt really something that I needed to hear again, even though I know this 1,000,000%. It was great to teach because in the same time you get to rehearse and you get better at your craft and skill, even though you're supposedly teaching it to someone. So there we go with the sentiment of people and working in that course, and the most valuable thing I got from this class. The first 2 hours of this class, well, it was a 2-hour class every day. The first hour, pardon me, was a question and answer with the guru gentleman named Myron Golden. I'm jokingly calling him that. He doesn't refer to himself in that way. In fact, he's quite humbled to be such a successful person. The first hour, you were able to ask a specific question as a business owner and get a real answer. Something that I will do if I'm an expert in anything for anyone. And if you need me for the Legacy of Learning program, even though you may not be directly connected to me through coaching or whatever, I'm still available for communication. Reach out. My door is always open. And that's another reflection I learned from him. So that being said, the first hour you were able to ask questions and get answers. The second hour was general session. So the first hour was a higher ticket under which you could ask questions if you were in VIP or platinum. VIP got to listen, platinum got to ask. General session, there was nothing but a curriculum under which he spoke for an hour. So 2 hours a day for 5 days summed up a 10-hour course. That was the challenge. At the end of every day of challenge, or the hour or 2 hours of the actual class portion, there were some things to do. And one of those things was to craft a message along the lines of what I shared a few minutes ago, which is not to make an offer that you try to make it seem so beautiful that you're so good at, but to give them an offer that will put them in the space they would have to think about, why wouldn't they click this? Because there's something I may miss. So that's what we learned. And then to do that ongoing. Now that's for your initial offer. After that, you'll then change the inflection or the tone of your offer to something along the lines, well, now that you're here, let me show you the 7 things that makes you rich or that makes you whatever. In other words, you twist it back to the beautiful item they need. But in the beginning, pose a question that if it would be a detriment to them, it would be deleterious if they don't click to learn these things that might affect them in a deleterious way. See how you get to use a word? And a quick segue, man. Not segue, pardon. A quick tangent. As I'm using these words or this technique of using a word to communicate with us and to learn something every day, every week, just as a technique, I've found myself implementing these words in sentences in other scenarios. The technique works. Learn a word a day. Learn the definition. Expand your vocabulary. Vocabulary also denotes universe. They say that people with a very small mindset has a limited vocabulary. In other words, your environment, your mobility, if it is restricted in some way, so will your vocabulary. And it does make sense. If you're trapped in a room, far-fetched, I know, but there are people that are trapped in rooms. Prisons are the first places that come to mind. And these people, they found after doing a test, a study, that people in these scenarios, because of their environment and the restriction they're in, that their vocabulary is restricted. And it's because of the restriction of their world. How many words can you have or use if you're restricted to, let's say, an acre of land and only maybe a few places you can go a day? There's only a few things that you will have to describe, and there are only so many interactions you can have with people if you're trapped in a space and everyone's trapped there. There's no diversity. There's stagnation. And that also should tell you something about mobility and being able to move around. It is the lifeblood of innovation. We must move. We must talk to people. We must learn new techniques. We must grow. Okay? So back to the class in and of itself. So yes, should you challenge yourself? Should you take a class? There's been another reflection of this course in this day and growing and taking the challenge and pushing the boundaries, is that I found that this particular genre of professional is becoming like this shiny thing that unqualified people think they could join. Why? Because if you have the gift for gab, you can convince anyone off rip or off the top or just superficially that you're skilled in some particular craft. And do you need a certification to speak motivationally? No. So I find that there are a lot of people that think that it is an easy route by way of coaching others, but have never accomplished the things they need to accomplish to claim the job of coach, of leader for someone else. I learned that too. So there are a lot of people aspiring to be coaches that haven't learned anything. And even if you learned something, coaching is a skill that even some of the best at any given task or skill, some of these people cannot teach. They can't coach. And some of the people that have become some of the most successful coaches in something weren't the best at doing it. Their gift, obviously, would be coaching. So, watch out for the charlatan. That being said, this country was named, or the continent and the adjoining continents, the Central America and South America continent was named after someone called Amerigo Vespucci, which was a charlatan. He was a liar. He said he was a world-renowned cosmographer, which means he had mapped the seas and he knew the route back from where he was in Europe to supposedly the New World, and he convinced the monarchy and he was commissioned to do so. Well, along the lines of the trip, the crew, which was obviously skilled in sailing, found out very quickly that he knew nothing. They couldn't kill him, but after he returned, he kept his, he kept his ruse up. He played his cards well, and he became like the top cosmographer for his monarch at the time. And about 3 to 5 years later, they named the continents of America after Amerigo Vespucci, a complete fraud. So be aware of frauds. They're everywhere. In fact, this is the legacy, unfortunately, of this country, is that it was founded by frauds, people just looking for money and to rob and steal. But anyway, there are frauds that exist in the social media space. They call it scamming now, scammers. People that will try to steal your money, and they even take it, some of them take it to a more grandiose level, which is to try to imitate people that can actually coach you. So watch out for those. But this guy is well vetted. If you're looking for a place to start, though I may not take his class again, and I got tired, there's the downside of this, of him making more offers to us. There wasn't a day throughout the entire program that he did not offer us something new to buy, bigger, better. And at the day number 6, he invited us to a special session. If you were inclined to click a link, he will then give you access, only to certain people, mind you, because you had to be special. All this BS was involved in pulling you into this class or this one more session scenario. In this session scenario, he offered a $25,000 coaching course. And you needed to put down $2,000 that day, that moment to get it. So yes, I did learn how to make more offers. And if him doing that, his intent was to show us by example, then it was a stellar technique. But I really thought that he was just simply taking an opportunity, as many as he could get, to make more money off of us. So that I did, find offensive. And it had a deleterious effect on me returning again or answering his emails and so on and so forth. I blocked him on emails because every day I'm getting an offer from this Make More Offers Challenge coach. So yes, I did learn what he was offering in his course. So hats off to him and bravo. Challenge yourself every day, every week. So much so that it becomes something that you are known for. Because as you challenge yourself, you push the boundaries. And when you push the boundaries and you're uncomfortable, you might be learning. Right? Appreciate you guys for stopping in. And if there's anything I did today that you may need a reflection on, a little bit more, don't be afraid. Reach down in the comments. Also, reach over down to the comments and click on my link to the website. Pick up your free GPA cheat sheet. Simply go in the contact section and say, Ron, send it to me. Give it to as many people as you like. It is a summation, actually, of my course. So if you want a brief snippet of what the course is about, even though it doesn't do it justice, it is a cheat sheet for a reason. I'm giving it to you for that reason. So if you do not use or purchase the book or the course, at least you have something to share and something to use. All right, is there anything I missed? No, we got the reflection, make raw offers. Looking at my notes here. Yeah, the word of the day. I think we did our job today, man. Oh, also a mention of, the past weekend. It was the weekend of spring break. If you're not on it or you took it, obviously spring break falls around the same time, but different institutions offer that week depending on, where you are. If you're at a Catholic school or if you're in college or if you're at a university, even at work, they may, depending on what type of work you have, you may get an Easter break. So I hope you enjoyed your Easter. It is a wonderful holiday. It falls at the break of spring and everything is starting to warm up and people start to wake up with the cycle of the sun. It gives you energy. Use that energy to propel you forward. Also, Easter is a great time to implement the Legacy of Learning program because you don't have any curriculum work in that period of time, and you could sit down and put together a couple of few steps to give you the edge you need. And it is best implemented, by the way, during the summer because you have the months, the couple 2 months, or during the winter break where you have about a month and a half, about 6 weeks or so, to implement the program. But yes, you can definitely use the Legacy of Learning program. And I always say, whenever you have a break, even if you're out of the academic pursuit space, but if you have a break, not to take that break and completely shut down, but to use it to gain a little bit of a head start, to be a little bit ahead of your competition. That way, when you return back to the game after your rest, after your week, or whatever sabbatical you took, you're better than you left, and you're kicking butt when you get back. All right? So that's just my word of the day, guys. I hope you enjoyed your holiday. I did, even though I forgot it was Easter, and I did a bunch of things before I got a text or a call to let me know it was Easter, But it is a wonderful, whether you celebrate it for religious reasons or it's because it's a break for students. And students, enjoy yourself, man. After all of your work, make sure you schedule it, though. Make sure you have fun. Let learning be your legacy. Add something new to your bag every day, every week. So much so that you get known for that and it becomes part of your legacy. You guys take care. Have a great week. Don't forget to try and use some of these words: candor, sagacious, deleterious. Peace.